What have I done to you that you have to break my doors to pieces? Go and take a look at the law. A man who breaks someone's door and enters without permission may be guilty of trespassing, a crime punishable by death. Idiot, said Pilgrim, laughing. I may have broken down the door, but my case is still a defensible one. But you took a girl from her family by force without using the proper matchmakers and witnesses, without presenting the proper gifts of money and wine. If you ask me, you are the one guilty of a capital crime. Enough of this idle talk, said the monster. And watch out for Old Hog's rake. Parrying the rake with his rod, Pilgrim said, Isn't that rake of yours just something you use as a regular farmhand to plow the fields or plant vegetables for the Gao family? Why on earth should I fear you? You have made a mistake, said the monster. Is this rake a thing of this world? Just listen to my recital. This is divine ice steel greatly refined, polished so highly that it glows and shines. Lao Tzu wielded the large hammer and tong. Mars himself added charcoals piece by piece. 5 kings of 5 quarters applied their schemes. 12 gods of time expended all their skills. They made 9 prongs like dangling teeth of jade, and brass rings were cast with dropping gold leaves, decked with 5 stars and 6 brightnesses. Its frame conformed to 8 spans and 4 climbs, its whole length set to match the cosmic scheme, accorded with yin-yang, with the sun and moon. 6 diagram gods etched as heaven ruled. 8 trigram stars stood in ranks and files. They named this the high treasure golden rake, a gift for Jade Emperor to guard his court. Since I learned to be a great immortal, becoming someone with longevity, I was made marshal of the heavenly reeds, and given this rake, a sign of royal grace. When it's held high, there'll be bright flames and light. When it's brought low, strong wind blows down white snow. The warriors of heaven all fear it. The 10 kings of hell all shrink from it. Are there such weapons among mankind? In this wide world there's no such fine steel. It changes its form after my own wish, rising and falling after my command. I've kept it with me for several years, a daily comrade I never parted from. I've stayed with it right through the day's 3 meals, nor left it when I went to sleep at night. I brought it along to the Peaches feast, and with it I attended heaven's court. Since I wrought evil relying on wine, since trusting my strength I displayed my fraud, heaven sent me down to this world of dust, where in my next life I would sin some more. With wicked mind I ate men in my cave, pleased to be married at the Gao village. This rake can overturn sea dragons and turtles' lairs, and rake up mountain dens of tigers and wolves. All other weapons there's no need to name. Only my rake is of most fitting fame, to win in battle. Why, it's no hard thing, and making merit. It need not be said. You may have a bronze head, an iron brain, and a full steel frame. I'll rake till your soul melts and your spirit leaks. When Pilgrim heard these words, he put away his iron rod and said, Don't brag too much, idiot. Old Monkey will stretch out his head right here, and you can give him a blow. See if his soul melts and his spirit leaks. The monster did indeed raise his rake high and bring it down with all his might. With a loud bang, the rake made sparks as it bounced back up. But the blow did not make so much as a scratch on Pilgrim's head. The monster was so astounded that his hands turned numb and his feet grew weak. He mumbled, What a head! What a head! You didn't know about this, did you? Said Pilgrim. When I caused such turmoil in heaven by stealing the magic pills, the immortal peaches, and the imperial wine, I was captured by the little sage Erlang and taken to the Polestar Palace. The various celestial beings chopped me with an axe, pounded me with a bludgeon, cut me with a scimitar, jabbed me with a sword, burned me with fire, and struck me with thunder. All this could not hurt me one whit. Then I was taken by Lao Tzu and placed in his 8 trigram brazier, in which I was refined by divine fire, until I had fiery eyes and diamond pupils, a bronze head and iron arms. If you don't believe me, give me some more blows and see whether it hurts me at all." "Monkey," said the monster, "I remember that at the time you were causing trouble in heaven, you lived in the water curtain cave of the Flower Fruit Mountain, in the Aulai country of the East Purva Vidya continent. Your name hasn't been heard of for a long time. How is it that you suddenly turn up at this place to oppress me? Could my father-in-law have gone all that way to ask you to come here?" "Your father-in-law did not go to fetch me," said Pilgrim. "It's old monkey who turned from wrong to right, who left the Taoist to follow the Buddhist. I am now accompanying the royal brother of the great Tang Emperor in the land of the East, whose name is Tripitaka, Master of the Law. He is on his way to the Western Heaven to seek scriptures from Buddha. We passed through the Gao village and asked for lodging. Old man Gao then brought up the subject of his daughter and asked me to rescue her and to apprehend you, you overstuffed coolie." Hearing this, the monster threw away his muckrake and said with great affability, "Where is the scripture pilgrim? Please take the trouble of introducing me to him." "Why do you want to see him?" asked Pilgrim. The monster said, "I was a convert of the Bodhisattva Guanxin, who commanded me to keep a vegetarian diet here and to wait for the scripture pilgrim. I was to follow him to the Western Heaven to seek scriptures from the Buddha, so that I might atone for my sins with my merit and regain the fruits of truth. I have been waiting for a number of years without receiving any further news. Since you have been made his disciple, why didn't you mention the search for scriptures in the first place? Why did you have to unleash your violence and attack me right at my own door? Don't try to soften me with deception," said Pilgrim, "thinking that you can escape that way. If you are truly sincere about accompanying the Tang monk, you must face heaven and swear that you are telling the truth. Then I'll take you to see my master." At once the monster knelt down and kowtowed as rapidly as if he were pounding rice with his head. "Amitabha!" he cried. "Namo Buddha! If I am not speaking the truth in all sincerity, let me be punished as one who has offended heaven, let me be hewn to pieces." Hearing him swear such an oath, Pilgrim said, "All right. You light a fire and burn up this place of yours. Then I'll take you with me." The monster accordingly dragged in bunches of rushweed and thorns and lighted the fire. The Cloudy Paths cave soon looked like a derelict potter's kiln. "I have no other attachment," he said to Pilgrim. "You can take me away. Give me your muckrake and let me hold it," said Pilgrim, and our monster at once handed it over. Yanking out a piece of hair, Pilgrim blew onto it and cried, "Change." It changed into a 3-ply hemp rope, with which he prepared to tie up the monster's hands. Putting his arms behind his back, the monster did nothing to stop himself from being bound. Then Pilgrim took hold of his ear and dragged him along, crying, "Hurry! Hurry! Gently, please!" pleaded the monster. "You are holding me so roughly, and my ear is hurting. I can't be any gentler," said Pilgrim, "for I can't worry about you now. As the saying goes, the nicer the pig, the nastier the grip. After you have seen my master and proved your worth, I'll let you go." Rising up to a distance halfway between cloud and fog, they headed straight for the Gao family village. We have a poem as a testimony. Strong is metal's nature to vanquish wood. Mind monkey has the wood dragon subdued. With metal and wood both obedient as one. All their love and virtue will grow and show. One guest and one host, there's nothing between. 3 matings, 3 unions, there's great mystery. Nature and feelings gladly fused as last and first. Both will surely be enlightened in the West. In a moment they had arrived at the village. Grasping the rake and pulling at the monster's ear, Pilgrim said, "Look at the one sitting in a most dignified manner up there in the main hall, that's my master." When old Mr. Gao and his relatives suddenly saw Pilgrim dragging by the ear a monster who had his hands bound behind his back, They all gladly left their seats to meet them in the courtyard. The old man cried, "Honored priest, there's that son-in-law of mine." Our monster went forward and fell on his knees, kowtowing to Tripitaka and saying, "Master, your disciple apologizes for not coming to meet you. If I had known earlier that my master was staying in my father-in-law's house, I would have come at once to pay my respects, and none of these troubles would have befallen me." "Wukong?" said Tripitaka. "How did you manage to get him here to see me?" Only then did Pilgrim release his hold. Using the handle of the rake to give the monster a whack, he shouted, "Idiot! Say something." The monster gave a full account of how the Bodhisattva had converted him. Greatly pleased, Tripitaka said at once, "Mr. Gao, may I borrow your incense table?" Old Mr. Gao took it out immediately, and Tripitaka lighted the incense after purifying his hands. He bowed toward the south, saying, "I thank the Bodhisattva for her holy grace." The other elders all joined in the worship by adding incense, after which Tripitaka resumed his seat in the main hall and asked Wukong to untie the monster. Pilgrim shook his body to retrieve his hair, and the rope fell off by itself. Once more the monster bowed to Tripitaka, declaring his intention to follow him to the west, and then bowed also to Pilgrim, addressing him as elder brother, because he was the senior disciple. "Since you have entered my fold and have decided to become my disciple," said Tripitaka, "let me give you a religious name so that I may address you properly." "Master," said the monster.